It's not that far away to be at financial peace, truly. It's just that people aren't doing this first easy step. You're spending your money on coffee, eating out, holidays, nice cars, nice clothes. It could be costing you way more than what you think. Here's what I mean. You've got to build an emergency fund. What for? Emergencies. And you got to start with know your financial baseline, which means know your numbers. What does it cost to live each month? What are you spending on rent, food, transport, vehicle, bills, insurance, whatever it is?
I'm Lloyd James Ross, 7-figure investor and entrepreneur, and I've helped thousands of business owners and professionals turn financial stress into success. If you're stuck in old money habits, overwhelmed by investing, or unsure where to start, this is for you. I'll give you the mindset and strategies to take control, grow your wealth, and achieve financial freedom. It's time to make your money work for you.
Have you ever looked at your paycheck and thought, what the hell? Where did it all go? You're not alone. Most people live payday to payday, not because they don't make enough, but because they don't have a plan. In this episode, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step system to master your money every time you get paid. We're talking knowing your numbers, build your emergency buffer, kill the high interest debt, automate your way to wealth, and invest like a pro without needing a finance degree. So whether you're a nurse, a tradie, or running your own business, this plan works. It's simple, it's powerful, and if you follow it, it can change your life. So let's get into it. Step-by-step plan, step 1. Know your financial baseline, which means know your numbers. What does it cost to live each month? What are you spending on rent, food, transport, vehicle, bills, insurance, whatever it is? You've got to know these numbers. What I mean by that is not the estimates. You've actually got to every single month sit down and print out your bank statements, okay? You can actually download them from your bank account on a CSV file. If you go to your online banking, click the buttons for your bank statement last month, you can click download Excel CSV file. And as it downloads, it'll come into Excel for you, all right? And when it does that, you can actually then see on the screen, you can highlight, you can actually filter the data and clump them all together. And what you'll see on there is like rent, insurance, phone bill, they'll all be clumped together. And then there'll be a really big one down the bottom, it'll say Uber Eats. I promise you, all right? And then you'll be able to see your subscription. So by clumping them together or bundling them together, you can see what the biggest movers of your costs are every single month. And what's great about bundling them together is you can then see which area to actually attack to start reducing those costs. And so the whole idea of that is to figure out where the heck you are, right? Because self-awareness is the first step to transformation. Most people don't even do this. So if you've never done it before, now is the best time to start. Download your statement, filter it all together and bundle them, and then start to figure out what you're going to cut, all right? Step number 2, you've got to build an emergency fund. What for? Emergencies. That's why, all right? And you've got to start with a small amount of money. You just got to start. It's $1,000. If you can't save $1,000 in an emergency fund, I don't know if there's any hope. Like, you got to just go for it, all right? Some people don't. I didn't know how they flipping even live. You don't have $1,000? How are you like living? If you get a speeding ticket, you're gone. How did you go bankrupt? Got a speeding ticket. Oh my God. How? I'd be a nervous wreck. How do people function? Anyway. Moving on, it's $1,000, okay? It's $1,000, that's the first goal. Then you wanna grow it to $5,000 and then $10,000. $10,000 is a really good buffer and it'll make you feel, that first $10,000 emergency fund, when you secure that, almost all of your financial stress and anxiety will disappear. It's not that far away to be at financial peace, truly. It's just that people aren't doing this first easy step. And it won't take that long. You can really go for it for 90 days. And in 90 days, you can have it done. You may want to sell things like on Facebook Marketplace, take extra overtime at work weekends, whatever it is you do, cut your costs, of course, don't eat out. But what you want to do is just create that 5 or 10K as fast as you can. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's $1,000 to start. Once you've done it, tick, all right? The reason why you need it, like, Lloyd, I've got all this debt. Why am I doing this first? Because this gets you off the debt hamster wheel. This gets you off the credit cycle. Because if you're in debt all the time, you've been in debt your whole life, you got credit card debt coming out your wazoo, then you're a credit junkie. You're addicted to credit. You don't want to be addicted to credit, right? You want to be a junkie, Give me more credit. Where's my credit? Right? This was like, so you don't want to be that. You want to get off the hamster wheel. So the emergency fund will do that for you. Perfect. Once you've done that and you got your emergency fund, we can go to step 3. Now, this is where you want to pay off debt, but you don't want to like pay off your mortgage debt. That's going to take you a long time. What I mean by pay off debt is like the high interest debt. How do I know it's high interest? Because it says on your statement, high interest. Like 17% interest or 20% interest. Do you know how much that's so much. You are someone else's money tree if you have that debt going on in your credit cards and personal loans. So we want to start attacking this. So any interest over 10% is really high interest. So it's not your car debt, it's not your mortgage, it's personal credit card debt that you've used to buy things, okay? So it's like a financial cancer. Until we like put you in remission, it's going to keep coming back and back and back and back and back. So once you've got your emergency fund, it'll help you step off the hamster wheel. Then we've got to destroy it, all right? So we want to use a bit of a snowball method, which is where you can actually start paying off the highest interest debt first. And as you're starting to pay it off, you'll notice you're spending less that month on interest. So that money you're saving, you want to use it not to go off and spend on other things. You want to use it to pay off the principal of that credit card faster. So as you're saving from paying off interest, vroom, you're putting in to pay off the principal faster. And you got to keep playing that snowball game again and again and again and again. You got to chop down the money tree that you are for someone else so you can plant your own money tree later, all right? So that's how you do it. It's the avalanche snowball method. It's exciting when you think about it, isn't it? How am I going to feel when I get out of this incredibly toxic, annoying, repetitive, painful debt? And it's what I want for you. So we're going to do that step first. Now, once you've got a handle on that and it's happening, you'll start to feel like you're getting in front of this thing, all right? Then we can do step 4, which is to actually automate your investments. Now, you don't have to be a finance pro to do this. It's very simple. If you are in the United States, you add an app called Acorns. If you're in Canada, you add an app called Mocha. If you're in Australia, you add an app called Raise. And if you're in the UK, you add an app called Moneybox. They pretty much do all the same thing, all right? And they're very easy to use. What happens with those apps? You add it on your phone, you set up your account in about 10 minutes, and what you can do is you can automate from your savings money that goes in there each week, but also they round up your spare change from purchases too. And when that happens, it'll start to automatically invest your funds into one of those inbuilt index funds that are in those apps. So you don't have to be a freak financial expert or an investing pro to do it. You just have to set up and do it, all right? Now, when my wife did this, she started one of those apps and she methodically did it over time, and she built hers up one day to a crazy number. I said to her one day, hey, what's your raise at the minute? She said, 60,000. I was like, 60, yeah, 60,000, right? Because she set it up after she had to sleep in the same bed as me for 5 or 6 years before she then finally did it. So please don't do that with me. You can just set it up today. That'd be great. Then she just let it. She's so patient. She just put money in it, right? And kept building it and building and building. It got to 60,000. So now that pays her passive income, which is awesome. So you want to just set it up. Once it's set up, don't rob the account. Because when people set it up, step 4 here, they'll rob it. They'll put like 1,000, then it's 2,000. They're like, oh yeah, cool. And they'll check it every day. And then boom, something comes up, like, or they want to go on a holiday. Oh yeah, I took it all out of there. I'm like, what? Why? You just robbed your future self. You want to get ahead, you can't rob your investments. Okay, so there's a rule that once it goes in there, you don't touch it, all right? And maybe have a goal to get it to like 50,000 or 100,000, okay? Just let it sit there and sit there and sit there and build and build and build. This is what wealth building looks like, all right? Remove the emotion.
Just quickly, if you're ready to take control of your finances but feel stuck on where to start, I have a solution. My book, Money Buys Happiness, simplifies investing and wealth building with practical steps to help you achieve financial peace. Get your copy via the link in the show notes and let's get your money working for you. Now back to the episode.
Build wealth on autopilot, all right? So that's step number 4 in how to get your money sorted out. Now, step number 5, depending on where you live, you want to max out your retirement account. So if you live in the United States, you want to max out your 401k. If you live in Australia, it's like superannuation. Make sure you're adding to your superannuation consistently. In Australia, you kind of do that anyway with your pay. But of course, if you're in the USA, you can add these cool tax-effective accounts called like your IRA, like a Roth IRA, where you can actually add in after-tax contributions and grow your assets tax-free, which is super cool. What I like about those accounts is you can actually take the money out too. So very flexible. You can max it out at about $6,500 to $7,000 a year. And maxing it out means putting it into that account and buying an index fund of some sort with the money. Okay, so if you're in the States, you got the Roth. If you're in Australia, just make sure you're leveraging your superannuation as much as you can because it's tax effective, right? Which means you're getting tax breaks on money you put in and you're getting tax-free gains on the assets as they grow. So max out your retirement accounts as much as you can because when you hit 60 or 65, you're going to give yourself a pat on the back and say, oh, well done. I'm glad you listened to that YouTube episode or Spotify episode of Lloyd's and you did it and now you're getting the dividends from it, right? That's what I want for you. So max them out as that step. Now we can move on to the next step because once you've done them, you can start to invest more of your free cash flow. Because if you're making more money, you got a side hustle, you're doing overtime, you've got a different, pay rise in your job, right? Then you can start putting money into a regular brokerage account, meaning a regular investment account. You can set up an online broker platform. A lot of banks have them. There's different types of broker platforms you can start. They're not difficult to find. You just type into Google, top 10 broker platforms to open. It's pretty simple stuff. And then you put in any extra cash you have into that account. You can start buying assets, meaning you can buy index funds, you can buy shares, you can buy real estate investment trusts, you can buy bond funds, you can buy gold fund. You can buy assets once you've got a brokerage account set up, okay? So that means you're starting to put extra money away over and above your superannuation and retirement funds. Because if you could have 2 retirement funds, you're building one, and your retirement fund is growing, you're doubling the rate of growth of your assets for when you retire, which is way better, all right? So that's what we can do once you've got your emergency fund in place, once you've started getting a hold of your debt, once you've automated some of your investing, you can start to graduate into building a bigger nest egg, all right, which is super fun. Of course, if you want to, you can put that money into paying your home off faster. That's okay too. Just start to really put your money to work either which way, all right? And the other step we got to do next is step number 7, which is really understanding opportunity cost. And what that means is every dollar you spend now is future wealth sacrificed. And I forget when I did this exercise, but I put a cup of coffee for like $5 into the compound interest calculator, and I put like a 10% growth rate on it over 30 years. And I just calculated how much that cup of coffee would be worth if you, instead of buying the cup of coffee for $5, you invested that $5 into an index fund that compounded at 10% a year. And what happened was the coffee turned out to be like $2,500. So every coffee you buy for $5 is actually costing you $2,500 in 30 years' time. So, that's opportunity cost. Some people are like, I want the coffee. And that's fine. Just understand it's costing you $2,500. And this is why Warren Buffett still basically just has the same basics from McDonald's for breakfast. He doesn't really spend on lavish cars. He bought a very modest house in the 60s he still lives in. And the reason he does that is because he understands the real power of compounding. He understands the opportunity cost of that money. If it's spent on things and stuff, you're going to pay a massive price for it over time. So you got to learn to say no to short-term dopamine hits for long-term freedom. All right. It seems pretty crazy, doesn't it? Like, what do you mean? I got to act poor for yes. You got to act poor. You can't just be rich to start with. There's a price to pay in this game, okay? So they're the steps you got to take to really get ahead of your money. And I'm just laying them out exactly how I've done them, how I'll continue to do them. It's not magic. It's not rocket science, thankfully. It's just methodically putting these things in place and sticking with it. It's the discipline to stick with it that matters. And I'm sorry that there's no magic formula or magic spell. You're probably not going to win the lotto. You're probably not going to get a massive inheritance or a trust fund. That's okay. There's a way out of this because I've been following this for the last 15 or 20 years, and without a doubt, it works, and it will work for you too, right? So that's your game plan. Simple, clear, and powerful, all right? It's not about being perfect. It's about having a system that actually works every time you get paid. So stick with it, stay consistent, and your future self will thank you. All right. And if this has helped, share it with someone who's stuck living paycheck to paycheck. This could change everything for them. See you in the next video.
Thanks for listening to Money Grows on Trees. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and subscribe to us on YouTube so you never miss an episode. And if you're serious about building wealth, make sure to check out the links in the show notes and follow me on all social media platforms at Lloyd James Ross for more. See you in the next episode.